All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. That was one thing, I guess, what's that dude name? Shakespeare got right. I don't want to do this no more. And by this, what I mean by this is being on this stage. And I'm not saying like not performing as an artist or whatever anymore, but I'm just thinking in terms of just life in general. So everything I'm about to say now, I had thought out in my head, but I, of course, am sitting in front of the camera, so it's just coming off the top of my head. I was just thinking so much about the energy, especially of recently. I am one of those people right now, I'm going through so much transition. Then on top of that, we have this, whatever it is, full moon in Sagittarius, which was about releasing a lot of things and like really coming to grips with what stays, what goes. I'm not being really accurate and I'm not an astrologist, but I know the basics. But I know that I've heard that this particular time and what I feel like it is for me has been about redefining yourself and like just becoming your true self, or introducing your true self to the world or to yourself, and letting go of, a little bird just ran by, letting go of the illusions and the things or whatever, right? That's what I'm gonna say it is to me. Now, whatever astrologer could say the energy is something different. But in this time, I have been so just like energetically drained, just tired, just in life in general, if I'm being honest. This whole video is gonna be me being just completely raw and honest. Raw and honest. I feel like I'm going to speak for myself first and then to the broader perspective. But I've been spending so much energy trying to present a certain way, trying to show up a certain way, trying to be a particular not type of artist, because that's saying I wasn't true to my artistry, but yeah, like how I packaged that or presented it, not the work itself. To the point where wearing that mask all the time, y'all, is so much energy that could be used for other things. On top of the mask that I felt like I was wearing, years ago, there was a poem I had out that was called In My Skin. That was literally about my challenges with my skin. I have grown up always with very acne prone skin from the time I was like maybe in middle school through adulthood. Thought it was something I was gonna outgrow, and I never did. And in my healing journey, one thing that I was using all the topical things, and this is gonna come back to the beginning. I just have to take y'all on the journey like I always do. I was using all the topical things and the creams and the this and going to dermatologists and spending money and doing the whatever. And the more I started working on healing my body, I realized that like I was having gut issues, right? Meaning just like digesting things, certain foods and things I was eating that just were causing inflammation in my body. So during those times when I was thicker, or when people thought when I had a little more weight on me, I was really inflamed during those times, y'all. Like not feeling very well at all. Body always hot, just all the things. And I started thinking today, I had a little moment, because yesterday I was feeling so good and I woke up this morning, I still wasn't feeling whatever that transition is when you're making a change. And today it like just hit me, and it was like, bruh, it's the shit. It's all the shit that we put in to like cover getting to the root of things. I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of it. Instead of just facing what it is and who we are in our raw essence and letting that be that, when I say I don't want to do this anymore, like I don't want to try to be the pretty girl anymore. I don't want to try to be the nice girl anymore. I don't want to try to be the good girl anymore. I don't want to try to be anything anymore other than I just want to be right now. And so this is perfect timing because I am leaving New Orleans. It's been real New Orleans, where I've been since I was 17 years old, and a sister is 45, will be 46 in a few months. So I felt like not even just geographically, but like living in the United States, living in New Orleans, living in certain environments, you feel you have to show up a certain way. And we've made a thing out of even like entertainers. Like all of it is a stage, and we carry it into our everyday lives. We wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about the amount of time we spend putting on makeup and putting on hair and all the things. And it's just, I think about all the time I would like back. But I can't get it back. So what I can do now is moving forward, like reclaim my time. This is a time of, I heard a sister who I watch, what's her name? She does the tiny houses. And she said, somebody asked her what was her word for this season. And she said reclamation. And that is literally what I feel like right now. Like I am reclaiming me. So going back to like, there was a lot of things I needed to heal with, my gut health, which came from, a lot of people don't know. One day I'm gonna write my memoir, my book or whatever, and people gonna find out some things about my life that you just did not know. I feel like I'm a very transparent artist, but I'm also not transparent in a lot of ways as well. When I was a toddler, I was like accidentally poisoned. And I ingested something and was rushed to the hospital and all the things. And you know, they have a thing called, I guess, Akashic records or something, but I'm going back just in my memory of being a child, and I don't remember that. But that's what popped up when I started thinking about the gut health thing. I was like, what if that possibly could have altered something in my being or how I process food or whatever. And then on top of that, I started thinking about just like childhood traumas that, you know, we all go through childhood or different traumas. I won't say childhood. A lot of people didn't have childhood traumas, but I did. I had certain things, and we don't like to speak about stuff, and I won't be particular or specific in this video, but when we grow up with fear or living in fear or anxiety, things like that, it can show up in certain ways in our physical being. And so, this whole video is just such a cathartic thing right now because some of it is stuff I probably haven't said out loud, but just thought in my head. But on top of that trauma, then growing up, or being born to teenage parents, like I've told everybody, feeling like I needed to prove my existence, that I was not a mistake. I became an overachiever and graduated valedictorian from high school and got all the college scholarships and went to college to be a doctor. And then when I figured out in college somewhere around that time that I didn't really want to do that, but I felt like I had to keep pressing on because I had created this image of this straight A student who was an all-star athlete and excelled in just everything I did. But I kept pursuing all the way to graduate school, you know, whatever. And then I think even around that time, I want to say the math started to crumble some, and that's when I like didn't go directly into whatever the career path or trajectory that folks thought I was going to go into. When I worked the nonprofit sector a little bit, and I had little random jobs here and there, and Then I worked for a nonprofit, yeah, and then I became an artist, or I leaned into my artistry. I surrendered to it finally, because I always was one since I was a kid, right? That's what I always dreamt of doing, but it was just like, where's the stability in that, right? We always learn that. And I'm a small town Louisiana girl, and you don't see anybody make it as an artist, or even pursue it if they have, even if they have the skill. Sometimes you don't even just see people practice it all the time because they have jobs and families to take care of and things to do. Um, and so I hid a lot behind the mask of perfectionism on top of being a Virgo, like y'all know. Um, I hid behind a lot of that stuff, even in my artistry, wanting to be the best. So I was a slam poetry champion, and I just think about all the ways I showed up and just cheated myself out of my real self and how I feel most comfortable for the sake of what I thought other people were going to think about me, right? And I just really recently started really feeling, I've been feeling it for a long time, but just really feeling the drudgery of that. And I think I went back and forth with it because it's like, okay, so how are you going to be an artist and you got to show up? An artist is expected to not only create beautiful things, but to also be beautiful. And I think there's something very, I won't say where we cheat ourselves. I keep saying cheat ourselves. Cheat other people as well out of a full experience when we don't show up in our raw, authentic selves. Because it's to say, oh, you have to look a particular way too. So then we have this entertainment industry where people who have real talent sometimes, or a lot of times, don't make it big because they don't have a certain aesthetic. And we give a lot of credit and attention to something that people cannot even really help a lot of times. Like, my nose is my nose. My sparse eyebrows, that's like a family trait. My mama don't have thick eyebrows. Now, some people in my family have eyebrows, but I was one of the people that inherited that not thick eyebrows, right? I inherited these cheekbones that I love. This crooked smile. I don't know who in particular that came from, but my narrow hips, my little tiny breasts, or I won't say tiny, but little handfuls, my athletic build, my big head. Like, I'm having a B-Rabbit moment right now if you ever saw 8 Mile. But all those things that make us so special and unique. My little mini love handles, because I'm a slim girl, but I don't have a super slim waist, all these things. I don't have a big old booty. Now, when I had my weight on me, I did. But naturally, just like who and how I am, and however my body transitions, whether it's skinny, chubbier, fuller, darker. Sometimes I tan and I'm a little darker. Sometimes I'm a little lighter. Whatever the case may be, I feel like we have a right and an obligation to show up. This is so scary in a way too. Especially when you don't meet whatever the traditional beauty standards are. But then I'm like, I heard somebody say too the other day, they're like, why do I trust the beauty standard that was built on people who have lied to us about everything? And in all honesty, I think there is a beauty in the scars, in the little, but I too have been brainwashed or not brainwashed, but convinced that there is something wrong with that. But I think there's an odd beauty in seeing the places where we need to heal. And so when I look at my skin in the raw, sometimes I'm like, okay, girl, you've been eating that sugar. Okay, you've been not drinking enough water. Okay, you not been moisturizing. Okay, you ain't been getting enough sleep. Like when we cover those things up, we're not able to see what it is we may need to address. And not even always address, sometimes just embrace, because some of it is stuff we can't do nothing about. Um, and yeah, I feel like that's how I want to live my life from this moment forward. And it's scary because everybody want to be loved and want to be beautiful or considered beautiful. But the thing I realize, or we know, is that everybody beautiful to somebody. And I definitely don't want anybody who supports me, likes me, loves me, whatever, embraces me to do so from a vantage of a perception, an illusion. I want them to do so from me, because when it all comes down to it, at the end of the day, that's who we gonna have to show up as, you know. Um, and that's who we are when we strip it all down. And so I'm not saying I won't ever put on any makeup at all ever again. I'm not saying that I won't feel insecure about some of the things sometimes, but I am saying that I feel like this is the beginning of something and a part of my calling, whatever it is. I kept pulling these oracle cards that I have, and calling kept coming out. And every day this morning I pulled it and I was like, why is calling keep coming out? And then I had this whole, not like epiphany or whatever. And I'm like, that's been the call, because I've had this idea for a long time and I've done it before and then stopped because I went into an environment where I felt like, oh, I need to show up this particular way or whatever. But I'm committed to myself right now more than I'm committed to other people and other people's ideas about how I should live my life, even. Because I've been thinking a lot about some other ways that I live my life, or that I desire to live my life, that people may or may not agree with. As far as like where I may want to live or travel to, or my spirituality, all the things, my art, how I dress, all of that. So there's more I want to say, but I made a vow to my little cousin yesterday. We had a good talk. She knows who she is, about showing up and not waiting till things are perfect to show up, because I think I was waiting on that too. I'm going to show up more when my skin clears up. I'm going to put the makeup and the whatever aside when my skin clears up. I'm going to present or be this particular way, or I'm going to allow love in when this is perfect or whatever. And it's like, shit, I'm about to be 46. I've been waiting for a long damn time, and I don't want to wait another 46 years to live my life. So yeah, this is, I guess, the beginning of, I'm gonna call this note to self. Note to self. Yeah, you are good. You are beyond good. You are perfect. Just like you are. Just like you are. Just the way God made you. Even with all my sensitivities. And I figured that out too. A lot of the reason why I can't eat what certain people eat or do what certain people do either, because I have just a very sensitive spirit, period. I cry at the drop of almost anything. Last night I came home and the neighbor's little stray cat that they feed, that's always out, that Pearl always barks at, I came home and somebody hit the cat, and they killed the cat, and the cat was right in front of the house, right in front of my house. And it just struck something in me, and part of that was, I guess, a realization too, like the fragility of life, and how we have so many chances to do it over, right? And so this is one of my do-overs. But hopefully this is the time I actually get it right. So Yeah, for anybody who's ever seen me in any other light other than um, this is me, and this is the me that a lot of people, everybody, including myself, gonna have to get used to. So I hope. I don't have a hope. I know. I know this is good. All right.